You just hit play on Tech Vibe Pittsburgh. This is your front row seat to all things around Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. I'm your host, Jonathan Kersting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council, where I'm knocking on 3 decades of telling the most awesome stories around everything in Pittsburgh's technology ecosystem. So, in a world where AI is rapidly transforming every industry, understanding how to implement artificial intelligence safely and responsibly has never been more critical for businesses and professionals. Today, I welcome Jenny Yu of Himalaya Quantitative Solutions so you can learn how to detect and mitigate vulnerabilities in AI systems, discover strategies for creating transparent and explainable AI solutions, and understand how to balance technological innovation with risk management. So keep on listening to hear Jenny reveal groundbreaking insights that could save your organization from potential AI pitfalls. Let's welcome Jenny to the show today. So Jenny, great to have you here today. Very excited to learn more about you. You've got a lot cooking right now. So tell me all about your background real quick. And then of course, I want to learn all about what's going on with Himalaya.
Jonathan, thanks for having me. I'm very excited here. So I co-founded Himalaya Quantitative Solutions. We specialize in providing AI solutions and manage AI risk that comes with them. Those two things go hand in hand. When I say AI, I'm talking about things from large language model, machine learning, to good old-fashioned statistical and stochastic models. And how it goes way back, how I started.
Yeah,
I started out as a data scientist.
Okay, great.
Though back then we were called a statistician.
I like it.
Yeah, over 2 decades ago. Since then, I've built, validated, and reviewed over 100 of AI models for financial industry to manage risk, make smarter investment, streamline the processes, and ultimately boost their bottom line.
Very cool. I mean, your
Um,
roots are so deep in this. So you talk about 2 decades working in this field. Many of us out there think that AI is something that happened a couple of years ago, but obviously this has been going on
yeah,
for a while.
yeah, it is a broad. I think the AI people mention now is generative AI, large language model. The AI is such a broad concept.
Yes,
That's what we're talking about here.
absolutely, absolutely. And I love the fact that you've been working on this for as long as you are, and the fact that you really are really focused so much on the safety of it, on the guardrails of it, to making sure that it works
Yeah.
properly. To me, it's just so interesting because people aren't even thinking that they're enamored with its possibilities. But you're looking at, yes, it has these possibilities, but it has to be contained, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, like I mentioned earlier, because of that, my experience, it was too critical. My experience leaded to me to do what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Why is that to over 100 of models? The other thing is the financial industry is the only industry has had the AI regulation for
Okay.
over 20 years.
Really?
So I had the hands-on experience since day one. So that may put us in the position is we can provide AI solutions
Mhm.
and manage the AI risk at the same time. We
Interesting.
are really good at take the complex data and turning it into something business can actually use. We bridge the gap between the data algorithm AI and the business process and the strategy. And we tell the stories behind the data. That's always the exciting part. And then translate those insights into decisions that can make a real impact.
It's
And
interesting you say that because the idea that you can make something actionable obviously is so important because obviously we get so overwhelmed with our data and being able to find the
yeah,
insights, being able to see where the risks are, but then actually being able to do something with that afterwards. And that is not,
Right.
that's easier said than done. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you're right. So through that years experience, we develop like a holistic process to
Okay.
develop those AI tools from figuring out the business needs to collect the right data, to pick up right model to test it. And the most important part to make sure people use it appropriately. And that's always keep human in the loop to make sure the old step is correct.
I like it when you say that, keep a human in the loop. That's
Yes.
so important.
Yes.
I know. So there's so much misinformation out there and so much, I don't know if it's fear, but it's people just not knowing. And the idea to think that, oh, this is just going to take over. And it's like, we keep humans in the loop for a reason in order to keep things under
Yes.
control and double check it because this stuff, it can hallucinate sometimes. And we all know that you have to have that human being that has the full depth to go with that. I think our listeners are glad to hear that. And I am too. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So primarily you're working with the financial industry because they've been into this for, you said, almost the past 20 years. But obviously this is spreading across so many other industries. So I'm assuming you're going to be able to follow suit. That is, any business needs your help with this, you can apply what you do to them, correct?
I think that like I said, financial industry has a very mature framework. And that
Yeah.
framework is transferable to any industry to
Okay.
start to adapt AI, not just generative AI, not just large language model, but in the a lot of decisions are driven by machine learning, by traditional
Mhm.
statistical, even stochastic tools. So those framework, not only those framework can be transferable to other industry, the tools built within financial industry that used to assess and mitigate AI risk also adaptable by other industry.
Interesting. And it seems like when it comes to the risks, and that to me is just the absolute most important part of all this, because the technology is always going to be getting better and better. That just means there's always going to be a risk side to everything that we do here. And managing that risk, it's just not always in people's minds. I think the wow factor of what AI is doing is so impressive that people are just like thinking it's this like manna from heaven, but it's no, we
Yes.
got to manage the risk on this. And I think really being able to
Right.
hammer that point home that as you deploy these systems, you do have to put those guardrails up. And that's what you guys do. You
Right.
help provide these guardrails, which is so interesting. And you have a specific tool around that. Is that the Guard AI that you guys have? That's one of the pretty powerful service that you guys have.
Yeah, so God AI is specific for large language model.
Okay.
It's designed to detect and mitigate the vulnerability in the large language model, such as
Okay.
privacy breach and malicious message. And we also have a tools for other for machine learning and other traditional statistical stochastic
Right.
model.
So you got this whole suite, which is what's great. So depending upon how a company could be embracing AI, you have the tools there to help them make sure
Yeah,
it's being used
yeah,
to its best and highest purposes and doesn't produce any extra risk than
yeah.
it needs to
Yeah.
for a company.
Yeah. And also lot of time it's not just a tool, it's also we always try to automate the validation or benchmark process. The one
Okay.
example I can give it to you is
Yeah.
we build those automatic process for a company is we were able to went from cover 5% of balance sheet every 3 years to cover 100% every quarter. Imagine
Wow.
the efficiency and the risk reduction in the process.
That's shocking to go from 5% in a year to being able to cover 100% every quarter. It has to be
Yes.
turning people's heads when they see that being like, I you gotta be getting people's attention with something like that.
Yeah. So I guess it's so because the experience I mentioned also like I see so many different ways to leverage AI, to leverage machine learning or those traditional tools to be able so we can connect the dots of all those things and mm, think out of box and automated process. The other example I can mention is we see a company, they have a risk management on one side and the revenue on the other side. We were
Okay.
able to connect the dot. So build an innovation idea for them to say, you can really create a solution to balance the risk and the revenue. They should not be measured separately.
Okay, so that's pretty transformative for a company to bring those two things together. Then that's got to
Right.
lead to some clarity and insights that you're not going to be able to get anyplace else by doing that. That seems like a way that, yeah, that's new stuff.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And so, as far as I'm just curious, like with the fast growth that we've been seeing around AI, I have to assume that like your doorbell's been ringing like crazy at HQS, because I just feel like people have to be finding you, knowing that as they embrace these technologies and they see the risks that are happening, they need experts in this field. And who better of an expert than someone who's been doing this for 20 years, has been doing this with the financial industry as long as you have. So I feel like I'm hoping people are drumming a path to your door on this thing.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. We definitely see the need coming up.
Yeah. That's awesome. I just feel, and this is why I think it's so important we have these conversations to let people know that there are solutions out there. And what is the typical size of a company that you tend to work with? And are you starting to see people now outside the financial model coming in, checking you or outside the financial industry coming to you, check you out?
So there was a true type of the customer. They're so
Okay.
opposite from each other. Let me tell you why. So
Sure.
the financials for the transition for the AI solutions, we still largely work on for financial industry. We help them to validate. Mostly, we help them to validate their model or provide the different solution for the business need. The other part of for Guard AI, our customer told different. They're the chatbot developer.
Okay. Interesting.
Because they are the early adapter for large language model, and they will use them to detect potential and
That makes
sometimes
sense.
malicious message.
Okay. That makes total
It's
sense. Yeah.
yeah, so it's a new territory for us.
Interesting.
Yes, so we'll have some beta testing on that front, and it's very successful.
That to me is interesting. And first off, I'm also curious. I feel like large language models have been really dominating the headlines with what AI is doing in the
Right.
state. And I feel like so much attention goes to that. So looking at a solution that you have that's able to provide that safety behind that, I think is so interesting. Because I know like a lot of folks, they're not realizing that as they're using these large language models, they're pulling from all sorts of sources. They don't even know what these sources are sometimes. And sometimes they're pulling from a controlled source, which is always better when you have the smaller, I guess, the smaller language models. But the
Right.
large ones, there's just a lot out there. So it does
Yes.
create a lot of that risk.
Yeah. You are absolutely right.
Interesting. Okay, I feel like I'm learning something over the years that I've been covering
Yeah.
this, which is great because I feel like it is in the pace that this is evolving. I feel like then you have to keep pace with that. And obviously, you're part of a
Yes.
lot of different industry groups and so forth that are staying in front of this. Tell me some of your affiliations and things that you're doing. I know there's rumors of you being part of a seminar that's going to be coming up as well too. That I think is very exciting. So tell me some about
Right.
that.
Yeah. I will co-host a seminar with the AI Alliance that created by IBM and Meta
Wow.
for safe and open AI. That's their mission.
Okay.
We're going to, the seminar is about AI trust and safety. Is such a critical topic right now.
Oh yeah.
And we also, this is part of the initiative we're working on AI safety and trust.
Okay.
And the seminar will putting together some leading mind in the field and to really dig into the challenge and opportunity in building responsible AI system. And it's 5 to 6 episodes, each around 60 minutes.
Okay. Excellent.
I'll share more information soon.
Yes, we're going to put the information for that in our liner notes just so people want to learn more about it. They can. And when will the first one kick off? Do you have that date set yet?
And not yet.
Okay.
It should be sometime around May.
Awesome. We're going to make sure that our listeners know all about that because I love the fact there's a series so you can keep up on it and get this in chunks
Yes.
and really get some in-depth knowledge around that. That to me is very exciting. So I'm very curious. What are some of the big trends you're seeing out there right now? Because you're seeing stuff that we'll be probably talking about in a couple months anyhow. But what has you really excited about where things are moving with AI, maybe particularly within large language models or whatever that may be?
Uh, I think that there was a couple of things very excited to me.
Yeah.
One is people talk about AI And then now since the conversation become more, I would say more sophisticated,
Okay.
people start to more focus on responsible AI in the development, in the deployment, and they focus on explainable AI and moving beyond the black box. And we
Okay.
can see more tools allow us to understand why an AI model makes a certain decision.
Mm,
And it is really like a black box
yeah.
for everyone. I've been working in the financial industry. There are a lot of black box. There were a lot of black box 3 years. People start to understand them and then find a way to explain them. So I'm pretty sure that explainable AI is very durable.
That
Uh,
sounds really cool to me because I think there is that mystery behind it and being able to validate and where it's pulling and why it's pulling the way it's doing. I think it's very powerful.
and the other thing is
Yeah.
about the AI risk management is the automation of that AI risk management. Like
Mhm.
we discussed the complexity of large language model and those traditional or if people basic statistical machine learning tool in a place. There's a lot of high, medium, no risk mark for traditional risk measurement. That this does not work for AI. So the development of automatic tool like our God AI to automatically detect and then mitigate the risk is a game changer. This trend will allow us to scale AI and implement AI safely.
When you keep saying safely, that's what I love hearing because that's what it comes down to. For technology to be powerful or it's most powerful, it's got to be safe, it's got to be trusted, and it's got to have some
Right.
transparency to it, which are things that you're talking about. One thing that has me really curious about, I'd be curious to see what you think about this, has been around the formation of generative engine optimization. So when people are searching the web now, they're not searching the web as much. They're actually just using Chat GPT to do their search.
Right.
And so when chat brings back like where it got that information from, I think that is just really cool because that begins to validate where its
Mhm.
mind is and why it's providing the answers that it's providing because it actually shows you where it pulled from. So that's something that I find interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
All good stuff. Really fascinating things. First off, I just love having these conversations with literally industry leading experts like you. I'm very excited
Thank
for your
you.
seminar series. Once we get that lined up, we're going to let everybody know about that because that is something I think everyone's going to want to check out. I mean, you're hanging out with IBM and Meta, like that's pretty awesome stuff. And the fact that you're just fully concentrated on making AI actionable and something that we can safely implement across
Yeah.
industries, fascinating stuff, Jenny, without a doubt.
Yeah. I think one thing I feel excited about this is
Mhm.
like I said earlier, like a company like a Meta and IBM and even a small player like us, we all share the same passion to make AI
Yeah,
safe and trustworthy, and we all have a chance to work together.
that's so cool. And everyone can learn from everybody because they're the
Yeah.
big players, but you're more nimble than they are. And you're seeing things, they're seeing things. So you bring these different minds together. That's when the really big solutions start to happen. So that's really
Yeah.
cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Good conversation today. I tell you, I'm stoked for what you're doing. We have links to your website here, of course. And once you know about the seminar, we're going to get that out as well, too. Jenny, this is fantastic stuff. We got to keep you on a regular basis here so we can get our regular updates on all the new fun and exciting stuff around
That's
the
great.
fast moving world of AI. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of it. Appreciate it. Hey, in case you forgot, this is Jonathan Kersting. I'm with the Pittsburgh Technology Council in Tech Vibe Radio. We love giving you a front row seat to people like Jenny right here with what's happening here with HQS. Amazing stuff all the way around. We'll see you on the next one. Cool. Excellent, man. Let me hit stop here real quick. Move my cursor around. There we go. Cool.